Hello there and welcome back to another game made in Clickteam Fusion, because this is not a game maker game and this is a neat little metroidvania clone and it's called Inexistence Rebirth. And if you are thinking like Inexistence, that rings a bell because that game actually was released already 4 years ago by the developer Beyond Good. And it was very similar to this one. I guess you had some other abilities. Hello, skip the cutscene, I don't want to see it. And then, well, he kind of rebranded the game a little bit. So he changed the level layout a little bit, bosses and so on. And then, well, he made kind of a newish game of it. Of course, I guess the old one had its own charm, but here I just know this one. So, and he gave it actually to me so I can check it out. So the game is basically a pretty neat pixel art castlevania, metroidvania, not just castlevania, a metroidvania game where you have some, well, general things, which is a level up system where you can have strength, defense and magic. Pretty obvious what they do. Then you have some skills. For example, those ones are unlocked if you beat a boss, and a few other ones, let's say for example, you have a specific magic attack, or you can actually find, if you are very late in the game, all the hidden rooms on the map, which is kind of neat. And then you have a bestiary where you can actually check out the guys you defeated, so this is pretty cool. Then they show you how much HP they have and all that stuff. Not too detailed, but a pretty good standard. So for example, I kill this guy. Let's check it out. It is something with not too much HP. And then of course you have some items which you can collect, some gear which you can equip, and then they boost one of those three or all three stats. And then of course you can have an armor and some artifacts. And then for example later on you find some artifacts which give you a hidden boost. For example, one which gave me some experience extra, so that was pretty sweet. So let's kill it and go into a save which is a little bit more advanced. Yeah. So here I played it to 330%. Not sure why I'm over 100. I guess that is possible. Yay me! I broke the game, and I actually literally did break the game, because for example once I started, you're seeing I have just 30 HP, which is not entirely true because my HP is actually 1030. So for example, if somebody's actually hitting me, come on, hit me, somebody, you, and you as well, come on, hit me, then you see 900 something. So I kind of broke that from the get-go. So one of the interesting things which you see at the very beginning of the game is, for example, come on, that you're having a health bar, and then which is showing you the health, and then you have this green button. You're thinking, okay, this is I guess stamina for rolling and all that stuff, which I thought at the beginning it was too. No, that's not it. That's actually your XP bar. So that was kind of confusing, but I guess this goes back to games where this was a standard. So every time you play, let's say one of those Dark Souls clones, or I don't know, Metroidvania games, there's always the standard that, well, red means that you have your life. This is representing your life. Green is kind of a fast regrowing or refilling a stamina bar, so you can do some actions with that. And then bluish is for mana, and actually the bluish one is for mana, but the green one is being kind of used for your experience, which is kind of strange, at least for me and some people who are used to have this standard. But of course, but this is a thing which the designer did on purpose, and in my opinion you can do it, why not? It's just a little bit confusing if you're kind of breaking this kind of meta which is being well established in there. So this is kind of strange for for newcomers. So the game is kind of nice, and you have everything which you need for a good Metroidvania game. So for what Metroidvania games consist of the good old map. So you have two, the Isle of Hope and then the castle, and these are the two areas where you can actually go. So the game is not as long as, let's call it, bigger ones, but you can beat it if you're really fast. Let's call it 6 hours or something. And then if you are taking your time, I guess you can put it at double. And therefore this is still a pretty decent game, so don't get me wrong here. I was looking for all the areas. I wanted to find out all the stuff, because I guess this is one of the great parts about metroidvania games. You want to check out all the areas and maybe find some hidden stuff, which is some walls, because here you have some invisible walls and all that stuff. For example, here you go down and then you can actually enter it, and then you find some stuff. Well, and besides being a neat little game for the meantime, I actually had some really pleasant exchange with the developer Beyond Code, which worked on this game for 8 years. So if you're thinking 8 years, that is quite a lot. Well, because the first one he released after 4 years, and then the second one, which is the Rebirth version. So this is kind of a remixed, upgraded version after 4 years again. So this is kind of the history how that game went down, and he's actually working in a bigger gaming company, which I'm not sure if I can mention, so I just leave a link in the description to this guy below, at least to the game, and then you can actually find it out for yourself. So this is just a side project for him. He's not full-time indie dev. This is just a thing which I guess he wanted to do. So okay, why not? Making games, well, is maybe not his thing, at least not making his own games. And well, another thing which I asked him, so for example, what could you actually give kind of insight into your game? And then he answered my question. For example, the first thing which motivated to make this game, because he, like me, likes the old school Metroid, Castlevania, and all those good old indie games from the past, where, well, you have some simplistic systems which are pretty present in the game. And then he actually wanted to do his own version of it. So this is how it went. So for example, he liked to put in some RPG mechanics, and well, definitely inspired by Castlevania. So I'm just reading this out. Yeah, and the next thing, which is the thing which is a little blind spot, but I guess he's not dependent on the money, he just did it for himself. He did virtually almost no marketing. So what he did, he just posted the game on a few websites, and in my opinion, posting stuff on websites is an obsolete and very inefficient version of how you can market your game, because it used to be like, for example, you go to, let's say, your favorite website where you have like, I don't know, the newest and hottest games being shown and all that stuff, but that thing is being completely replaced by by YouTubers and some hobby gamers which just do that by themselves, and therefore that stuff used to be very, very strong and powerful, but now, well, it is not. I missed actually one thing. Nice. How much do I have here? Let's check out. I have 1 point. That's not good enough for anything. Yeah. So the next thing which I asked him, because here, first of all, the marketing, I must say he didn't do too much, which is a shame, because why not? This game is actually neat. It's pretty well done. There are some good effects, and it is, for the meantime, for a few hours, a pretty worthwhile game. I played it through, so I had my fun, most definitely. And I asked him, for example, how he would do the game concerning the graphics, and he said like 95% it's his stuff, and the rest is just remixing, revamping, buying some assets, but this is just 5%. For example, a few things I recognized from Anzimus. So here, for example, the tree, not this one, not the snail, this is definitely his thing. Come on, where are you? So for example, this tree looks very familiar to one of those from the Anzimus. So if you don't know this guy, just type in itch.io, you will definitely find a pretty great graphic designer, and he does a lot of things for free, so this is pretty cool. So here, most of the stuff he did by himself in his 8-year period. And the next thing how he can actually handle feedback, and this is one critical thing where I am pretty much having the same opinion. He takes all this stuff into heart, and because he thinks that even though it's maybe some harsh criticism, that just means that people actually want you to succeed and want to make the game better. So that is the thing which I would say, yeah, that's actually a very healthy way how to take up criticism. And this is, well, for example, a lot of things which he got as criticism, he actually put that into the game, so he was listening to the community, which is a lot of times a very smart move. For example, some people actually see some errors which you don't see because sometimes you are just in your tunnel, you're just gliding through the ether, and then at some point you're like, well, I kind of messed that up, I didn't see it because, well, I was completely focused on other things. So this is a healthy thing. And then one last thing, for example, on his motivation, why he did this game, he just said like, hey, making a game is a wonderful experience, and I must say and agree, making a game is great. It's just basically like you're producing your own little baby, your little clone robot, whatever you want to call it, something which you made yourself, or for example your sandcastle, or if you're a little bit older, your big Lego castle. Well, he wanted to show it to the world, and because, well, besides making the game is being fun, sharing is too. So this is a little thing from his side. He just wanted to make this as a side hobby, so this is by no means for him an income thing or a full-time work, at least not on this game. So that was pretty much it concerning the developer. So once again, beyond good, thanks for sharing the game. I actually enjoyed my time, I played it through. The ending is, in my opinion, a little disturbing, so if you want to find out what that actually is, so I just wanted it to teaser it to you because I found it extremely disturbing, and I'm not so easily shaken, but that was yeah, okay. But nevertheless, gameplay is fluid, as you can see. You're fighting some baddies, upgrading your things, then getting your upgrades. So for example, skills, I basically almost upgraded everything besides yeah, so most of the stuff I actually upgraded, so you can have this cool speed boost, which is giving you access to other areas, this high jump, a double jump, and I guess these kind of attacks, which are more or less useful. Sometimes I didn't find them useful, but most of the time melee was the best option, but I guess focused it completely on melee. You can have other builds if you like. So that was pretty much it. Hopefully you will enjoy the game as I did. Link in the description to the guy plus the game. Have a good one. One up indie.